Welcome to Real Shame. It's a show where we review movies from our movie list of shame. I stole that. Or movie blind spots. I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
And this week we're coming at you with some movies that I haven't seen. But before we do that, we always like to talk about what we've been watching. So, Andy, what have you been watching?
All right, so still a couple of Christmassy movies that take place at Christmas time. I don't know is it correct to call movies that take place at Christmas time Christmas movies or not? Some people say no, some people say yes.
What would you call them? What would you call them?
Well, I mean, if Christmas has nothing to do with the plot, like, I mean, it's not like an integral part of the plot, it just happens to take place at Christmas. Like Cobra with Sylvester Stallone takes place at Christmas time, but I've never heard anybody refer to that as a Christmas movie.
Do you think there's like a percentage? Like if it's more than let's say like if it's more than a third?
Yeah, I think it has to play some sort of pretty important part.
So it'd be December movies or it's Christmas movies.
I don't think either one of these. Well, one is a franchise, but only the first movie takes place at Christmas time. But I spent some time with Riggs and Murtaugh. This past weekend, yeah.
Lethal Weapon.
Been a long time since I've seen
Shane Black, who does all of his movies at Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen. So I'd never seen Lethal Weapon 4. So, but it's been a long time since I've seen Lethal Weapon 1 through 3. So I initially was just going to watch Lethal Weapon 1 because it takes place at Christmas time. But I had so much fun watching it, I was like, I got to continue this. Yeah. So I watched Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 was the first time I've seen it. And
that's with Jet Li and Joe Pesci, right?
Yeah. Well, Joe Pesci comes in the second one, and he's in 2, 3, and 4.
And like Lethal Weapon 4, they drive through a building. Like
yes,
yeah, that's. I think I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
But okay, so sorry.
I have missed that one until now. I mean, I think they're all still fun.
Yeah.
I used to think Lethal Weapon 2 was better than Lethal Weapon 1, but I think now Lethal Weapon 1 is better than Lethal Weapon 2. I feel like Lethal Weapon 2, they crank it up to 11. Yeah. And yeah, it is really fun, but it's a little annoying, I think, at times. But again, like a lot of franchises, I feel like it goes down with each successive one. But I still had a good time watching them on Saturday. I think it's fun. It was fun.
I think they're fun movies. I know Kirby hasn't seen them, so that's something I want to.
Got to get on that.
Got to get on that for sure.
And then I watched another movie that takes place. I would not describe this as a Christmas movie at all, but it does take place at Christmas time. It came out in 1999. We'll see if you can guess it. It came out in 1999. Well, that's not the title of the movie, though.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to write it down because I didn't want you to see it.
All right, here we go.
But that is an important word in the movie.
Okay.
Fidelio. It came out in 99. It was a famous director's final film before he died.
Oh,
stars a husband and wife, former husband and wife team of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
You know what? I actually I downloaded this movie because I intended to watch it, but I haven't.
Oh, you've never seen it?
I haven't seen it since it came out.
You have seen it, okay.
I think I rented it when I worked at the video store. So
I saw it in the theater. I mean, because that was a big deal when that came out in the summer. It was the summer is when it came out, even though it takes place at Christmas time. It was the summer of '99. But yeah, I liked it when I saw it in the theaters. It's obviously it's a little strange. If you've seen it before, I'm talking to. If you've seen it before, it's a little out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've seen it since then one time. And this is like my third time to watch it. I still like it. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't want to get too much into it. It's kind of a mixed bag, but I still think it's pretty decent. Although it is quite long.
I just remember it being very long and like the story being very convoluted. But maybe that was just my brain.
Shades of what we're going to talk about next week.
All right. Yep, for sure.
And then finally, I watched 2 movies, both with a female's name in the title. Single word title. Both came out in 2020. Yep. I watched Emma, period, with Anya Taylor-Joy. It's the latest adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma. And I watched Ava, no period, with Jessica Chastain. I know you watched Ava. Yeah. I agree with you. It sucks. It's not good. And
Jessica Chastain's awesome.
I like Jessica Chastain, and she's got another movie coming out where she's like an action.
Oh yeah,
hero,
it's like
359 or
it's stuff like that. It's like
187.
It's like
214.
Some bus route sounding name or whatever. Yeah,
it might as well be a sequel to this.
It's like 359, like World Police or something like that. Something ridiculous like that.
But I will say to the universe, please stop making Common as an actor work. It's not going to work. Like I don't like Common. Like stop. Just stick with music, Common. Like don't, because I think he's really sucks in this movie. But I think the movie just sucks overall. But it's on Netflix, so I was like, oh, what the hell? I watched it on Netflix. And then Emma is on HBO Max. Emma's okay. Like I could take it or leave it. I thought it started off quite bad. I actually thought it got better as it went along. But the problem is I don't think there's anything really that sets it apart from other Jane Austen adaptations, like the Gwyneth Paltrow one. I always thought that was pretty good. I don't think there's anything that sets it really apart from that. It's visually very pleasing to look at. Like the costumes are really lavish and the scenery is very lavish. It's not terrible, but I will never watch it again.
I don't think I've seen any Jane Austen novel turned to movie.
Yeah.
Because there's like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility and like Emma. Like there's like 30 Emmas. It's like there's as many Little Women adaptations as there are Emma.
Yeah.
So
I think I've only ever seen the Gwyneth Paltrow one, but I didn't think this was any better than that.
Wasn't one?
I thought it was worse.
Didn't like Emma Watson do one like last year or the year before? Like another like British actress. I mean,
she might have.
Yeah.
Emma plays Emma.
I think so.
But I will say Bill Nighy is in Emma, and he's criminally underused. He's the best thing about that movie, but he's not in it a lot. I wish he was in it more because he's an amazing man.
Yes, yes.
All right, that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching?
So I think I mentioned on our like holiday traditions kind of viewer question that I like to watch the Harry Potter movies around the time. So we knocked that out in a week. Was it 8 movies? 8 movies. We got it done. Movie night.
Yeah.
Doubled up on the weekend, got it done pretty fast. Those are awesome. Still think Order of the Phoenix is my favorite. The Half-Blood Prince is very interesting to watch. Like the color correcting in that movie is very interesting. It's completely desaturated the whole time. It was actually a little distracting watching it. So, but those are just great. It's like coming home, fun. I also because of our viewer question this week, I wanted to play a little catch up on some of the well-reviewed movies that have come out this year. So I watched Sound of Metal, which I think is on Amazon Prime right now, and I thought it was good. It's not going to make my list, but I thought it was a good movie. I watched You Cannot Kill David Arquette, which is like a documentary.
Is that true?
Yes, apparently it is.
Okay.
Because there's some stuff that happens to him, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But I thought that was interesting. It's an interesting look at like wrestling and that culture, and that's not something I have a whole lot of experience with. So it's interesting kind of diving into that. And we got a little bit with that. What was the movie we both saw that about the female wrestler
Fighting with My Family?
Fighting with Family, right? So I like that kind of like inside baseball kind of movie, and this one's a little bit of that. So it's good. Again, not going to make my list.
David Arquette go, I got kids. I need this job.
No,
anytime. He stole that line? No.
No, he should have.
Should have.
Watched Freaky, which was a movie I was really looking forward to because it's the same director who did Happy Death Day. Christopher Langdon, I think his name is. Not as good as the Happy Death Day movies, but okay. It feels like he took a step up visually in the movie in Freaky, but the story really suffered. Like to me, it felt like, and I don't know if this is true, like this was a movie that was written before he wrote Happy Death Day, and he got to film Happy Death Day and came back to original script. I know he wrote it with a co-writer, so that's probably not the case, but it just felt like the story wasn't as cohesive as the Happy Death Day movies. But this visual, he definitely stepped up into this visual style and the way he kind of shot it and stuff like that. So I think it's good. I guess I would put it as a mixed bag. If you like Happy Death Days, the Happy Death Day movies, I'd say it's worth looking at and checking out and watching. Just know it's not going to be quite up to that bar, to that level.
What famous movie is he going to take now and make into a horror movie? Because he made Groundhog Day into Happy Death Day. He made Freaky Friday. He just dropped the Friday and made it into Freaky. I wonder what he's going to take next. And
should do like Memento. Wait, no, he shouldn't do Memento. He should do oh shit, what's the other movie that Chris Nolan did that was big? Inception. Oh no, wait, we already did that with Brandon Cronenberg and Possessor, which I haven't seen, but that's on my list. So those are the movies I kind of caught up with for 2020. The last two I wanted to include was I turned it into a Richard Curtis kind of triple feature this weekend, and I watched Yesterday, which was written by him but directed by Danny Boyle, which we saw in theaters, and it was good. It was a good revisit. It still holds up. I still like it, and still have the same critique I had when I watched it for the first time. And I watched Love Actually, which is one of the Christmas movies I like to watch. And since we were watching on Wednesday About Time, I figured I would watch this movie along with it, which is written and directed by Richard Curtis, and I adore that movie.
What about Pirate Radio, aka The Boat That Rocked?
I downloaded that to watch, and I have yet to watch it.
You've never seen it?
I think I've seen it a long time ago when it came out. It has Philip Seymour Hoffman in it, and also has Bill Nighy in it. Mm-hmm. So, man, that's a good cast. That's a good star cast.
But I don't remember much.
So
that's helpful.
That's a lot of what I've been watching, just playing some catch up and trying to do some, watch the Richard Curtis's stuff he's done. I have not seen 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which he also.
I haven't either. We have to include that on a future episode.
All right, so that's me. Let's go into our movie review, and that's going to be
While You Were Sleeping from 1995.
Excuse me. Yeah. Is that the woman that saved his life?
Yeah.
Oh.
Gets even better than that. She's his fiancée.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I need to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Officer, may I interrupt you?
Oh, sure. I'll be right over there.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Rubin.
Hi,
Don't tell me about Patches. Where the hell is he?
Dad, don't embarrass me.
What is this?
This is my son. How is he?
You can't come bursting into this unit.
He'll be all right, right?
What happened? What's going on?
He's in a coma.
On Christmas Day.
Jesus.
His vital signs are strong. His brain waves are good. I think he's going to get through this.
Are you a specialist?
How did this happen?
He was pushed from the platform at the train station.
Who's she?
She's his fiancée. His fiancée? Yeah.
Peter's fiancée?
He's just engaged?
Father-in-law.
Yeah, I thought... No, he
you don't
Wait.
Maybe
he was busy.
Too busy to tell his own mother he's getting married?
All right, don't yell at him.
I'm not yelling at him. Only Jack were here.
Is she okay?
She's got a little heart problem. She's had 3 attacks already.
They weren't attacks. They were episodes.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing wrong with her hearing.
Excuse me, doctor, what is she doing in here?
Hey, buddy. She saved his life.
You saved his life?
Yeah, but
I thought he was pushed off a train platform.
She jumped on the tracks.
You jumped on the tracks?
Doctor, it's supposed to be family only.
She is family.
She's the fiancée.
All right, what is While You're Sleeping?
In 1990 Chicago, Lucy is in love with Peter, but the trouble is, Peter has no idea Lucy exists.
Right.
After Lucy saves Peter from being struck by an oncoming L train, remember this is Chicago, a now comatose Peter is watched over in the hospital by both Peter's family and the woman they think is Peter's fiancée, Lucy. When Peter's brother Jack comes into the picture, Lucy finds herself falling for him, and vice versa. But how can she admit her feelings without betraying herself to Peter's family? Not to mention Jack. It's While You Were Sleeping. It's not really as great as all that.
I want the last part, the y'all.
It's While You Were Sleeping, y'all. That's all right. While You Were Sleeping, again, came out 25 years ago, 1995. Just barely. We're almost to 2021, so it's almost 26 years ago. Yeah. Directed by John Turteltaub. You can thank him for the first Three Ninjas movie. Both National Treasure movies.
Emily. Rocky loves
both
Emily.
of the National Treasure movies, and he recently directed The Meg, the giant shark. So he went from While You Were Sleeping or Three Ninjas to While You Were Sleeping. He's done some other stuff, but those are the high points.
Those are the peaks of his career.
In his career, I don't know if the Meg I would say is a low light because I hated that.
I thought we had fun with it.
I don't remember liking that. I remember it being very long and not nearly as good as I hoped it was going to be. But it was written by Daniel Sullivan and Frederick LeBeau, and the interesting thing about these guys is I looked them up on IMDb, and this is pretty much the only thing they ever wrote. This is the one screenplay. They had this one idea, I guess. Or maybe they had more than this idea, but they just couldn't get any screenplays to be accepted in Hollywood. I don't know. I'm not talking crap about them. I'm just saying I found it interesting. I didn't see any other kind of real credits.
Did you read the trivia about where they initially had it was a male protagonist?
No.
And they pitched it to a bunch of studios and were like, that doesn't seem right.
No.
And so they switched it to a female protagonist.
Oh, okay.
According to IMDb, which we know is
was that trivia
various
repeated like
shades of
10 times in various forms from people because they don't They don't do any sort of editing of their trivia sections, and they're just a jumble of crap.
It's like Reddit where you're trying to post a link and someone else will post the link.
Yeah.
So you change like one word so you can get. Yeah.
Nobody does Control F to see if there's something remotely similar. They just like, I'm just going to post. All right, so we're getting off topic here. All right, so the cast includes, of course, Miss Sandra Bullock. She plays Lucy. She had already done Demolition Man and Speed, which really made her a star before this movie. But this is the first kind of movie where she took like the lead. She also had The Net that came out this same year. Yeah. And interestingly, she hasn't done anything since Bird Box 2 years ago. She hasn't acted, and Ocean's 8. She did both of those. So she's taking a little bit of time off. I think she has an upcoming project in 2021. Of course, everybody's got upcoming projects in 2021 because they all got pushed from 2020. Peter Gallagher plays Peter. Wasn't hard to remember his name in the movie, and I think his eyebrows must have their own trailer. He's got some really bushy black eyebrows.
He has some Eugene Levy style.
He does. He does.
Eyebrows.
A pre-presidential Bill Pullman plays Jack. So this is a year before Independence Day. Peter Boyle plays the father. I think everybody really knows him primarily from either Young Frankenstein or Everybody Loves Raymond. He's on that show. Jack Warden, character actor Jack Warden, is an old curmudgeonly guy that knows Lucy's secret.
He plays Ox. Is that? I think his name's Ox.
Is it Ox? I
think
can't remember. Yeah, he's like a family friend.
Yeah.
And then Allie Walker has a very small part as Peter's fiance or supposed fiance. She was on the television show Profiler, if you ever watched that show. It was on for a few seasons. Yep. But this is a movie that I saw when it came out. I rented it back in 1995, but I've not seen it since then. I watched it on Disney Plus. I imagine you probably did something similar. You'd never seen it, though.
I've never seen it.
You've been sleeping on while you were sleeping.
I have. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And but no, I've never watched it.
Oh well.
So
moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
I don't know how you feel about Sandra Bullock in general.
Oh, I mean that. So kind of to use that to kind of segue into my movie. I like Sandra Bullock. I find her very charismatic and very affable and likable in a lot of her movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Bird Box, but I like Speed a lot, of course, right? Speed's fun.
I didn't like Bird Box.
I adored The Net. I'm going to use the word adore, I feel like, a lot this week. I adored The Net when it came out. Like, I remember watching it in theaters and, like, I like hacking movies, so that kind of just set my brain on fire. And I remember, like, buying, like, a Wired magazine that had, like, articles about, like, the behind the net and how much of that's true with I think it's like Praetorius is like
you too can order pizza online.
Yeah,
Here's how.
Yeah. AOL CDs and stuff like that. So I do, and she's awesome in Demolition Man. So I do like Sandra Bullock a whole lot. But in this movie, she doesn't shine that much. I feel like she's very like dull and she doesn't stand out and she doesn't have any of those qualities that I like in her. And I don't think it's like her character at all, but it just seems like she's, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like they're using her that much, and she's not pulling me in the movies like she normally does on this kind of stuff. So overall, I thought the movie was just okay. It seems like a pretty generic romantic comedy to me. It doesn't heighten the romantic comediness. It's not like one of those ones that I would say, oh, these are like the best kind of romantic comedies and stuff like that. So for me, it was just kind of like, okay, it's okay. It just felt pretty generic. And like I said, she didn't really pop for me. None of the actors really popped for me. So it didn't feel like it was, elevating it or anything like that,
Yeah.
So like you said, you haven't seen it since you rented it X number of years ago. So what was it like revisiting this movie this time around?
I mean, I feel about the same as I felt about it back in 1995. I think it's good, but I agree with you. I don't think there's anything that really sets it apart or makes it, absolutely amazing. But I think it's perfectly good for what it is. It is a movie that I think I can tell, who I would recommend this movie to. I can tell who would like it and who wouldn't like it. It's pretty formulaic, I guess. It's just like a lot of other romantic comedies. I mean, it's pretty slick. nobody in it really has any huge crises. I mean, yeah, there's the whole kind of mistaken identity, if you want to call it that, or whatever they think that.
Or when he gets
Lucy is
mugged, it's like the lightest mug I've ever
her
seen.
fiance.
And when he gets pushed into the thing, it just
Oh,
seemed
yeah.
like it
Well,
just seemed.
Of course, it would have been it would have been terrible if he would have got run over. That would have been.
Or
really
the guy
pretty bad.
knocked him out. He just barely pushes him. Like Peter Gallagher spends 15 minutes.
His eyebrows weighed him down and brought him down onto the tracks. They're
trim
so
those
big
babies.
and bushy. They weigh a ton. But no, I mean, again, yeah, I do think Sandra Bullock is, very kind of girl next doorish in this movie. Yeah. So I didn't really have any kind of problems with her or whatever. I think, obviously, Peter Gallagher doesn't have much to do. He's asleep most of the movie, but he's fine whenever he does wake up, and he's kind of a adult. He's like, oh, what? Huh? Whatever.
I was just trying to imagine what that audition is like. They're like, all right, I want you to lay here.
Yeah, just
in
don't
a
say
coma.
anything. Yeah.
And then that's all they did for the audition. So when he did act, they're like, "Oh man."
Well, he's a
You got
method
the right
actor,
guy.
so he actually had them induce a coma for him, so he could. No. But and I like Bill Pullman. Although I will say, I watched a movie or rewatched a movie earlier this year called Zero Effect, that has Bill Pullman in it, which I really, really like that movie. And I kept thinking about, because he has kind of a romance with Kim Dickens in that movie, and it's way superior to although that movie's not a romantic comedy, so it's unfair to compare the two. Yeah. But I kept thinking about that in my mind. I was like, man, I want to watch Zero Effect again now. So, but no, I mean, I like this movie. Everybody in it is kind of cute and funny and whatever. Again, there's no real huge conflict, I guess. I mean, yes, her parents think that Lucy is Peter's fiance, but Lucy's such a sweet gal when they finally do kind of find out. It's not like there's any real, I don't know, recriminations or whatever.
Yeah, I'm also, when I was watching the movie, I'm like, Bill Pullman and Peter Gallagher don't look look very close to each other. So one of them's got to be the milkman's baby.
They don't look a bit alike. I thought that too. I was like, how are these guys brothers?
I think part of the fun is supposed to be how zany and wacky his family is.
Yeah.
It just feels like the movie gets spread too thin on a bunch of different things. Like, if we dug into the family stuff more, I think the movie would have been better for it. Or if we would have dug into Peter's fiance, who's already married, a little bit more, that would have been funnier.
Yeah.
Because that's a one throwaway line that you find out when they're at the altar. Yeah. And it's like, you could have set up that antagonism between Sandra Bullock and her to kind of bring out some comedy. It just felt like, it just felt so generic because they never really dug into some of these places where there could be comedy gold, in my opinion,
Yeah.
And I also feel like miscommunication comedies are just hard to do. Like, it's hard when you have a bunch of characters there's conflict stemming from the fact that they're not really saying what they need to say to each other, right? And those are just all hard comedies to kind of write and to get right, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And honestly, it reminded me a lot of the movie we reviewed earlier this year, Sabrina.
Yeah,
like,
because
I got a lot
of
of
brothers. She's attracted to one brother, but finds herself falling in
Yeah,
love with
and-
another brother. I thought the same thing. Although this is way better than Sabrina, in my opinion.
Well, I think I was more positive on Sabrina when we watched it, but
I think I'm more positive on this movie than you are. But no, I didn't like Sabrina. Sabrina was. I know.
Kirby can hear us talk crap about Sabrina.
Yeah.
The remake. I haven't seen the original.
Although they did come out the same year, both 1995. I was looking through the list of movies that we've done this year. We've been heavy on 1995 because we did Virtuosity, we did Johnny Mnemonic. I feel like we did some other 1995 movie, but although I could be wrong. 1995 is our jam.
1995.
Coming in 2021, it's all 1995 movies.
It is. So I build the playlist whenever I put the movies into decade playlists I created, and I feel like we're really heavy on the 80s decade. Like, I didn't go in and count them or anything, but just just from my recollection of always clicking that 80s playlist, I feel like we watch a lot of movies from the 80s,
nothing wrong with that.
Which is interesting. But hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, why don't you tell us what the counts are for all that kind of stuff?
I thought Ally Walker, that plays the fiance, was going to have a bigger role. You hear her on the answering machine a couple of times, I think, about the movie. But in my memory, I remembered her being in the movie more. But she only comes in at the end. She swoops in.
Yeah, and Sandra Bullock spilling that blue water on the rug, nothing comes of that, right? Like you would expect, like there would be like a big like my carpet, either from like Peter Gallagher.
I think
from
she does
her.
say a line later where she's like, "Sorry about your carpet." He's
She
like, "Wait,
does,
my
but
carpet?"
it's just like you felt like that was building towards something, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I just like I said, I feel like it. I don't want serves too many masters. It spreads itself too thin. I think if it focused a little bit more and pulled from these areas of conflict that you can mine comedy from, I think it would have been better. So I would actually say, along the lines of what we talked about last time, this is probably right for a remake. I think you can make this better with the right writer and focusing on the right aspects of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a remake like I would be opposed, or am opposed to like a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake or something like that. Even though I think this movie's perfectly fine. I mean, I had a good time watching it. I mean, I'm probably not going to watch it again for another 25 years or whatever, maybe. But I picked it because it kind of takes place between Christmas and New Year's, which we're in that, at least when this airs, we will be in that time period or whatever. So I figured it was kind of the perfect thing. But yeah, I mean, it's. You can lump it into the same kind of basket as a lot of other romantic comedies, which are all kind of the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with that, but I like it, and I like the kind of '90s nostalgia and all.
I was going to ask you, what's the horror remake of this movie?
I don't know.
There you go. That's Christopher. That's his next movie.
Yeah.
Horror remake of While You're Sleeping.
While you were having a nightmare. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure.
All right. So anything else on the movie? I know. Then let's go into critic reviews.
80% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% audience score, 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. They had fun watching it, and Leonard Maltin just gives it 2.5 stars, right there in the middle. In the middle of the road.
I can see that. Like you said, I can see how this can play well for certain kinds of people versus other different kinds of people.
Yeah.
So before we close the podcast, what movies you decided to pair with us and why?
I wanted to do another romantic comedy, and at least kind of romantic, maybe not as comedic as this one. And I have not seen the movie About Time. I know you have seen it, and obviously you're a big fan of the guy that wrote and directed it or whatever, Richard Curtis. And but I did know that it had at least a couple of scenes that took place at a New Year's Eve party. And since we're leading into New Year's, I thought, well, romantic movie has some New Year's stuff in it. You like it. I've never seen it. Let's do it. It's about time. Next time.
It's about time that we review this movie.
About time we do this movie. Next time. Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned Wednesday to watch About Time. If you've seen While You're Sleeping and you feel different than us, then leave a comment below or shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. I'm not going to say this all the time, but I feel like it needs to be said. I've been talking to a few friends and family that are subscribed to the channel, and they're not getting weekly notifications of the show. So there's a bell icon you can click on YouTube that will make sure you get those notifications. So if you're not getting 2 videos a week and you're expecting 2 videos a week from us, go ahead and click that bell icon. Again, I'm not going to belabor that point, but I think every once in a while I'm going to point that out just for people to kind of keep an eye on.
And if you click that bell, an angel gets its wings.
There you go. Just like last Christmas episode. And we also answer Wednesday. On Wednesday, we also answer viewer questions that are sent to us at that email address, realshame@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. That really does help spread the word of the podcast, and we do appreciate that. And also follow us on social media, Real Shame on Instagram. And stay tuned next time as we cross another movie off his list of shame and we watch something I like. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.